Hey, how's it going? Welcome back. That got me the day off work on account of it's a civic holiday here in Ontario. So I figured I'd do a collection update. You won't see any new releases this time around. This is strictly old releases that I've picked up in the last little while, but I don't think any of you will mind. So let's kick it off with a classic Chicago punk band, the Effigies. This is Body Bag, backed with Security. It's on Wxyz Records, came out in 1982. A fairly well-known band. If you're unfamiliar, very moody, kind of bleak, yet kind of anthemic at the same time. The musicianship is well above average. Like, these dudes can play. And as a result, they wrote intelligent songs. It doesn't get much moodier for the Effigies than with Body Bag. It's a fantastic track from start to finish. And then Security goes off on more of in a post-punk direction. It relies pretty heavily on repetition, and it's kind of got that pulsing thing going on with it that a lot of post-punk bands get, if that makes sense. It's a good track, but I prefer the darker, moodier side of the Effigies, and you get a lot of that with Body Bag. Record does not turn up much, especially up here. I saw that Emissions had a copy of it, so when I was in Toronto, I stopped in and picked it up because I didn't want to let it pass me by, and I got a good deal on it. So Effigies. Now, this next one filled a giant hole in my collection that I've been looking to take care of for years now. You never see this record turn up, not very often anyway, even up here in Ontario where they're from. Talking about the Viletones. This is Look Back in Anger. It's their second 7-inch. It's on Wxyz Records from 1978. Not nearly as familiar with this one as I am with their first 7-inch, Screamin' Fist. This is a perfect example of a band evolving without sucking, without completely sucking. Like Screamin' Fist, that's a classic Canadian punk record. This one, not nearly as good as Screamin' Fist, but still pretty fucking awesome. Now, Screamin' Fist, it just dripped with, like, street level, kind of like a criminal, thuggy kind of vibe. There's not as much of that here. But this record is much more musical. Like, their playing ability has improved exponentially since the release of Screaming Fist. But it doesn't ruin it. A lot of times for me, when people get kind of, noodly and wanky, I lose interest. This is still pretty good. It opens up with Don't You Lie, which is an okay track. Then it goes to Dirty Feelin', which is very 60s influenced, which makes sense because Roger Main from the Ugly Ducklings produced this. So there's going to be some kind of a 60s influence seeping in here in some way, shape, or form. But it's the B-side here that shines. 3 bangers in a row. You got like Backdoor to Hell, Swastika Girl, and Danger Boy. Like, yeah, it doesn't get much better than that. Now, this signifies, me having all of the Viletones records that you can get on vinyl, on vinyl. So it's kind of a door closed, as it were, for now, until another bootleg comes out or something like that. But yeah, hard record to find. I paid a little bit for it, but whatever, it's worth it. Finally, this is in my collection, and I couldn't be happier. Apparently, shortly after this record dropped, Stephen Leckie was also dropped by the rest of the band, and then they took off and formed the Secrets. So that guy was probably a little sad when that happened. But yeah, Viletones. And we're going to stay in Toronto. It's a lesser-known band than the Viletones, but still pretty cool nonetheless. It's the Cads. This is the Do the Crabwalk 7-inch. It's from 1978. It's on By Our Records. Now, anytime you read or hear anything about the late 70s Toronto punk scene, you'll always see it mentioned that there were 2 camps of people. There was the kind of street-level criminal element, which was, kind of represented by the Viletones and the Ugly. And then you had the art school crowd, which was championed by, the Diodes and the Dishes and bands like that. I would put these guys a little more into the art school side of that. Melodic, sense of humor to them, very juvenile, but it's there. But melodic in the way the Diodes are, but kind of unorthodox in the way the Dishes were, or maybe like Talking Heads or something. If you had the Diodes and they allowed kind of an unorthodox influence of someone like the Talking Heads into their sound, it might sound something like the Cads. And the whole feel you get from like their playing style, it's very laid back and relaxed. Like the singer, I would have no problem picturing him doing vocals while sitting in a lazy boy on the stage. It just sounds so relaxed. I don't know anything about this band other than one of them also played in True Confessions, which was a power pop band. I showed their LP a bunch of videos back, but other than that, this band's kind of a mystery to me. I don't think they've released anything else, but yeah, they released Do the Crabwalk. See, there's crabs on there, so don't have sex with any of these guys because you might be doing the Crabwalk. So yeah, there you go. Now we're going over to Ireland. We're staying in 1978. It's on the Good Vibrations label. Kind of well-regarded label there. The Undertones and Rudy and Outcasts and whatnot. It's a band called Extremists. This is Right Way Home. And it's backed with a song called Dance Away Lover. Now, this band's kind of interesting. They're really more of like a rock and roll band with a little bit of a power pop thing going on. They started out as basically a cover band, but they had two different sets. One was a rock set where they would cover like the Byrds and Spirit and bands like that, and the other was a country set because they had an option of two venues to play at. So depending on which venue they would play at, that's what set they would pull out. And then eventually they discovered that they could actually, at the one venue, they could actually do, songs that they wrote themselves. And then someone brought Extremists to the attention of Terry Hooley from Good Vibrations Records, and he did a 7-inch for them. And then they kind of got a little more accepted by the punk scene and started playing shows like that. But by and large, it's just a really good rock record with some pretty distinct flavors to it, I guess. The vocals, very distinct. The guitar playing is awesome. Like, the musicianship in this band is well above average. The guitar player a lot of times plays with like a flange to it, so it almost sounds like a wall of noise riding over the music in the background, but not enough to be annoying. But yeah, very, very good. Drummer's good. Yeah, the whole band's great. Right Way Home is the more kind of upbeat of the two tracks. And it's pretty good, but Dance Away Lover is the winner for me because it's a very tense, kind of anxious song. It's very interesting, and I love the guitar solo in it. So yeah, this was, I have all of the, like, after Good Vibrations, they ended up getting picked up by Polydor, and they did a few singles on Polydor. I have those, so this was the last of their singles that I needed. Now I just need their LP, so I'll probably break down and buy it off Discogs just to put the nail in that coffin, but super stoked to have Extremists. All right, this next one, this is, I never say I have a grail. I think that's kind of silly, but if I were to consider something a grail, it would be this. The Singles, that's just someone that I knew. 1980 Basilisk Records. This is a super hard to find, super, well-regarded power pop record from Australia. I've wanted this for probably 15 years. Anytime they pop up, they're always expensive, and most of the time they're sleeveless versions. So I saw this one pop up. It's in great shape, has the sleeve. I kicked out the money for it. It wasn't like ridiculous, but it was enough that most people would think I was kind of nuts. But anyways, yeah, the Singles. That's just someone that I do. Super sweet sounding power pop. On the title track, the A-side, you would swear that he's going through a breakup as he's singing the song. B-side is called If You'll Only. It's a really good song as well, but not nearly as good as That's Just Someone That I Knew. But yeah, I wanted this record forever. I spent a little extra to get it. I have no regrets. Fuck it. And the last of the the 7-inches I got here, a band pretty much everybody knows. It's Ultravox Retro Live. This is actually the second press, like the repress of it. I think it originally, the first pressing came out in like 1978 or something. This is a 1981 pressing. It's on Island Records. It's well recorded, you know, live tracks from early Ultravox before Midge Ewer came into the band and they became like a synth pop band. This is kind of like a, not too far. It's like the Buzzcocks without the sappy stuff, maybe, without the lovey-dovey shit. It's pretty good. It was super cheap. It was only a few bucks. So, and I didn't have it. So I basically bought it for the song Young Savage because I love that song. So yeah, Ultravox. All right, that's it for the 7-inches. I got 2 LPs, and then I'm out of here. This is one that I had a copy of this before, and I must have traded it away at some point in time, but now I got a new one. Anti-Nowhere League, We Are the League, on Wxyz Records, 1982. This is the first pressing. You can tell that because the song Animal, in one of the lines, he says, I'm a child molester. In later pressings, like, well, all the pressings after the first pressing, they replaced that with I'm Your Neighbor. So, yeah. So this is the first pressing of it. Just good, growly, kind of street punk type stuff. Definite sense of humor. Penchant for profanity. Yeah, it's just good stuff. I got rid of it when I had it before and saw this. It wasn't too expensive, so I was like, yeah, fuck it, I'm buying it. And I did. Now, lastly, Australia, 1985, Reactor Records, self-titled LP by Depression. Very metallic punk band. I wouldn't really consider them crossover. Like, they don't kind of have that kind of almost like a groove that crossover bands have. This is just, you know, metal influenced punk. Like, the guitar player knows how to play. I have another 12-inch by these guys called Australia, which came out in the same year. I just don't like it as much as this one. This one's real good. I first heard this band on the Welcome to 1984 compilation that Maximum Rock and Roll put out. They did the track What a Strange World, which is on this as well. But yeah, it's just really well done hardcore punk with definite metal leanings without going so far as to be considered crossover. At least not to me, anyways. Not by the the modern current definition of crossover, anyways. Probably more metallic than most for the time period. But yeah, I saw it, didn't have it, figured I wanted it. Now I got it. So yeah, Depression. But anyways, there's a little bit of heat for your day as far as secondhand used records go. So yeah, I'm gonna get out of here and enjoy the rest of my holiday. I think I got a date with Get Mean, so we'll see how this is because I haven't watched it yet. So have a good day. Bye.